book review of The Phantom, The King of Beggars. The issue number is 1966, and we're also going to be reviewing the latest Phantom comic to have come out, The Phantom, The Scarlet Sapphire. It's got The Phantom by Gaslight of Man and Beast Part 2, and it's in conjunction with Lightning Strikes Comics. And that is issue number 1967. So let's have a look at these Phantom comics, because these are some of the best. I reckon this year could be the best Phantom. It could be the best Phantom year to be a Phantom fan. Like, you've got the video game coming out at the end of the year. You've got comic books from few publications coming out every fortnight. So being an Australian Phantom fan has got to be some of the best. Got to be some of the best moments, best stuff that's coming out from this year. Okay, so let's have a look at this comic book. We've got this week's cover is done by Alex Tripp, and I think when I first looked at this story, when I first looked at this cover, it was like real impact. It was like real in there, but I felt like it could have been a little bit more. There could have been a bit more going on with it. But yeah, apart from that, and apart from my minor judgmental comments or constructive comments, it's actually a good cover. I think at the end of the year, if there's something else that's happening, I think it may go towards into the top 10, but we'll see where we're heading. See if anything else comes out, and I like that even more. Okay, we have The King of Beggars. It is a story that's done by Pa G. Heatherstone, and art is done by Carlos Cruz, who I think this story, especially like the way the drawings of the kids have been done, like Eloise and Kit, I think the way that they've been done and the way they've been drawn, I think that it just reminds me a lot of how a lot of the drawings were done in like the Mad magazine, and the magazines including like the Mad magazine, Crash magazine, and sometimes you may have seen them. Sometimes those types of drawings you may have seen them in good old K-Zone. It's been a very, very long time since I've had a look at a K-Zone magazine. Like, on a little bit of a side topic here, I used to collect K-Zone and the Crash magazines, and yeah, they were good, but now you realize they're like a little bit you grow out of that type of stuff, and yeah, and then you find something like this, and you say, oh yes, I'll be a fan for 60 or 80 odd years. So this story was first published by Egmont in Scandinavia, Phantom number 8 in 1992. It was published in 1992, so that pretty much makes it, when it originally was published, it pretty makes it 30 plus years old. Yeah, 30 plus years old. 32 years old? 32 years old. Yeah, boys. So, when the twin sister Heloise follows, she stumbles upon this box, and it has a stuffed rat in it. And the Phantom then goes to the Chronicle room and tells a story of when the rat was still alive. It played a part in a rare and nasty story involving my ancestor, the 15th Phantom. It all began in London in 1840. It was a foggy December morning. Hustle and bustle in the early morning down here on the Thames. A hay bale was dropped on a person's head, and in knowing a person said, "Help! There you are, my boy. Catch and feed your disgusting little beasts." And their squeaking and scratching keeps me awake night and day. Father, I think I got him. Got him? You mean he disappeared into the Thames? But I'm sure he froze to death in the icy water. Disappeared? You idiot! Idiot! I must be sure I'm dying, but he has to die before me because of the tontine and the money. No, revenge. I worked for him for many years, and he forced me to give up our noble family name, de Porcel. And you have no blame, Dad. It was you who embezzled. It was he who was the tempter, Manon, servant of that damned Tontine. It was his idea then for 30 years ago. Gentlemen, the war against Napoleon will soon be over, and our earnings will fall. But with my plan we can all invest and benefit, for ourselves or our surviving heirs. My chances are small. I'm almost 60 now, but I'll give this Tontine game a try. If we live another 30 years, yes. Tontine was kind of cruel. Life insurance, a lottery really. Every participant invested money, in this case £5,000. After 30 years, those who were still alive shared the original money in plus interest. If none of the participants were alive, the money went to the heirs of the participant who lived the longest. I take it none of you gentlemen will have the hard time raising £5,000. Not at all, ha ha ha. Lady Fortune always smiles on us. A small loan and I'll have £5,000 too. But Clay Peters found me out. Thief! Imposter! I hired you, de Porcel, and I'll make sure you get your punishment soon. 2. Revenge. Father, dead. Poor father. I'll enact revenge for you, and when I clear the last obstacle, the money is mine. The rest of the drama took place in London in 1841. Squeak. Sophie Clay Peters lived near St. Claude's, one of London's worst slum districts. Help. Please help me. In here. We will help you. Help. The rats are chasing me. The carriage disappeared into the foggy night. So, what happens to this young lady? Does he enact on his revenge, or is there something sinister at play here? At the end of this, after this, the Phantom is contacted with another gentleman saying that this cousin of mine, this person that is called St. Clay Peters, has gone missing, and he enacts the Phantom's services. The Phantom and him try and work it all out. The Phantom, in doing so, is slowly involving himself in a very, very dangerous circumstances. He goes and sees one person, and they said, "Scandal, sir. She ran off with a travelling theatre company, a silly blonde woman." What? Perhaps the pastor knows the name of the company. I don't actually know. Talk to Miss Clay Peters' lawyer, George Hogmayham. He has an office in the city. We will seek him out. Thank you. Goodbye. You didn't say your cousin was blonde. No, she has black hair. Everyone is lying. We should search the house ourselves. But it's illegal? Illegal. That night I committed burglary, writes my ancestor. The house has been empty for a while. Footprints in the dust store, a man and rats. Strange, they seem to have followed him. The house is completely empty. Oh, you scared me. You found no trace of Sophie? No, but a man has just been there and probably taken her private papers in the morrow. We look for her lawyer Hogman. For now, we'll return to the hotel. Key fits. Click. Not a sound now. and they try, and people who are visiting their room unexpectedly try to kill the phantom. Thug, 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 thug. Oh no, there's no one there. The murderers were surprised when I suddenly appeared, writes my ancestor. I knocked down one of them, but the other lunged forward at me. I stopped him with a blanket roll, and I think he cut him himself. Gah, he's gone, but I'll interrogate the other one. Time to wake up now, my friend. Now you should start by telling me who you are and why you are going to murder me. Why do you wanted to murder me? We came just to steal. No fairy tales now, truth. The king of beggars, he promised us we'd be well paid if we killed you. Who is the king of beggars, and why does he want to murder us? He is the leader of the beggars, and the criminals have sent Claudy to Limehouse. Suddenly his shirt ripped, and the villain managed to jump out of the window. I changed quickly. A few minutes later, Henry Clay stood in the door. I heard sounds. From where? From here? I had a visit from a couple of rats, but I scared them off. Yeah, a couple of rats, alright. They're coming to kill you. They're coming to murder you. He's mistaken Miss Sophie has gone travelling to soothe her nerves after the unpleasantness. She wrote nothing about it in her latest letter to me. We would love to have Miss Sophie's address, Mr. Hogham. Achoo. Unfortunately, I have a duty of confidentiality, gentlemen, but I've received a letter from her saying that everything is in order. It's here somewhere. Just a moment. And, like suddenly, all letters go on the ground, like it just was planned right out of thin air. Crash. What the... Interesting. Choo. I apologize, gentlemen. It's impossible to find letters in this mess. Where are you staying? At the Albion Court, which I think that you already knew. This is getting more and more mysterious. On the contrary, Henry, I'm starting to see a pattern. Look at this from Hogham's office. Exactly. The papers in Hogham's account were just old leaflets and pamphlets. The office is just a front. Just a regular flyer. The event in the office was well staged to win time, and now Hogham has sent his clerk and 2 others to spy on us. What? I don't see any. No, but they are there, I assure you. At the Albion, my ancestor devised a plan. I don't understand why we have to change rooms, but I'll do as you say. What will you do? Take a quiet walk. Good night, Henry. After that quiet walk, he goes to visit Alan Dodd, physician. And he discovers that Sophie Clay Peters, unmarried without a surgeon, on the recommendation of the parish priest and include doctor. A diagnosis of hysteria. And then we have rats. The priest was near to death. Someone was nearly going to kill him. And squeak, squeak. Ratman is here. The rats swarmed all over me. It was a horrible feeling. I swept them off as many as best I could. Suddenly I heard whistle again. A strange melody. Wake up, Henry. Quick, get dressed. What's happened? Where are we going and why? To Hoddesdon to pick up Miss Sophie. Why are you armed? Won't the doctor release Sophie voluntarily? Maybe, but the pistols are for defense. So they go to the hospital. They are in an ambush. They are ambushed. They are wanting to save Sophie from in the hospital, because if she's in the hospital, they're going to kill her. And once they kill her, the person that is the last person on this tontine will get the money. And all will spell the end of this deadly, dangerous story, which without a really good ending. So the Phantom, he goes over there. He goes over the wall. He gets Sophie. He brings her up, and they say, "Stop. What should I choose, injection or scalpel? I wonder which has the most calming effect." The Phantom gets knocked out. He's put in a straitjacket. I stretched all the muscles until he breaks free. Now, Dr. Dodd, I have some questions to ask. Help put me down, you maniac. Where are Miss Sophie and Henry Clay? They are being kept imprisoned in the St. Claude's until Beggars, King of the Beggars, has got the Tontines' money imprisoned. Where? If you release me, I can draw a map. He draws a map. The Phantom goes in. They takes out a few people, and he breaks down the door. There's rats. When the shrill whistle filled the room, the mass of the rats surged towards me like a repulsive wave. Rats, my ancestor. This little vermin clawed and climbed all over me, and eventually he works it all out. There's the fire has consumed the building. He saves Henry. He saves Sophie, and by the end of this story, this guy meets a fatal end. And says, "No!" Boom! Somehow Hogham survived the explosion with a few burns and a long prison sentence. At the Imperial Eastern Company, a week later, the apology to the bleak adventure took place. "Gentlemen, time for payment. Of the year 1811 Tontine. Finally you get what is rightfully yours, Sophie. I think of everything awful that happened. The Tontine's money is blood-stained. And I already have enough money. Because none of the original signatorials are alive, may I hereby... What is that noise? Who's singing? Into the room come in old John... in an old weather-beaten sailor. It's John Berry. At your service, mademoiselle. I think I have some money to collect." So this guy here, I reckon that guy has very, very long-standing associations with the other guy, but didn't really get involved in it. Did not get involved in it. The reason why? Because he wanted to stay back. He wanted to see what was going to happen, and eventually what had happened takes everyone else out of the equation, and to this guy, he just waltzes on in, says, "I think I have some money to collect." A few days later, once I took care of my original business, these two get married, and they live a happily ever after life. And they, true love. Your friend never said who the marksman stranger was. No, honey. Although I've a feeling that I know who it is. And that was the whole story. Wow, the King of Beggars and the rats. Cool. Did they marry? Yes, Alois. And Clay later gave that stuffed rat to my ancestor as a memento. You just like weddings, for the cake's sake. And don't you, huh? Last of the river is a rat. So, if you want to subscribe to this, if you want to know what to do, if you want to be receiving the latest Phantom comics weekly, they come to your actual postal address. So, wherever you are across the world, and in Australia, they will come to it, they will deliver them, and you can subscribe online at www.phantomcomic.com.au for $208 per year. I've done it. It's a good way to get your Phantom comics. If you don't get them from a news agency, or if you don't have a news agency around or in your town locally, then that's a good way to be able to get the latest Phantom comic fortnightly. They normally, with comics that come in the postal service, they normally come a couple of days before they get released in the news agency, because sometimes they might come on a Monday before it actually gets released on a Thursday. So they might come on a Monday and they might come on Tuesday, and you'll be reading your latest Phantom comic even before everyone else reads theirs. So yeah, it's pretty cool. It's good. Good looking cover, just a lot of impact. A lot of impact. Apart from the impact, I'm not too sure what else is going on there. Pardon me. Excuse me. Okay, we have the Phantom, issue number 1967, as I said. We've got the Scarlet Sapphire, plus the Phantom by Gaslight of Man and Beast, Part 2. And this comic is in conjunction with Lightning Strike Comics. Okay, we've also got a very, very new cover artist, who I'm going to find out for you. Okay, so the front cover art has been done by John K. Snyder III, and the back cover art, which I'm about to show you, is by a very, very relevant and very, very recent guy to be doing the Phantom, is Guyan Karo Karakazo. I think this story is actually quite cool. Cover art's actually quite cool as well. Very modern, which is cool as well. Did he forget? Oh no, he didn't forget that part. Well, at least that's something. What I was looking at, I was looking to see if I could see any of the trousers, because, hey, us Phantom fans want to make sure that everything's accurate. We love accuracy. We love things staying the same, don't we? Okay, this story, right? So it first got published in Lightning Strikes issue number 4 back a couple of years. It wasn't a couple of years ago. It was more than 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago. And I reviewed this same story, probably in 2019 or something. And yeah, isn't this format different? Okay, so we have the Mortuan Dex, Balagala. Okay, so the next story that's supposed to come out is called The Pet Detective. It's going on sale on the 11th of April 2024. Doesn't come out this week, it doesn't come out this week, it comes out the following week, I think. And the premise of this story is that there's these jewels and there's diamonds, and they've been mined and there's a lot of things that are going on in this mine, and a lot of things of those are bad, and Diana isn't really that happy at the moment because of it. And the Phantom goes and susses all out. This guy here is Bakombe or something like that, and he's the head of this honcho of this place. The Phantom goes to see what it is all about, get some information, and then he's been taught a lesson, but he's trying to teach the lady a lesson, because this lady is a hired ninja type person. Wah! Like kung fu fighting. Wah wah wah. Kung fu fighting. Yeah, it's so good. Kung fu fighting. Ha ha ha. Good old kung fu fighting. Carl Douglas, legend. So the Phantom, he scuttles off, and they say he'll be back. And then there's a court case involving Diana Palmer Walker, trying to prove that this company is doing very, very bad things. She's having a very hard time doing it. And the guy says, "Be careful, Miss Palmer. Some stones are not meant to be upturned." I'm ready. The Phantom and Diana are ready. They go to the place. They absolutely kick up some dust. They got a wolf in the stables, and all of that, and it all comes crashing down. Everyone's taken care of, and then we have the Man and the Beast. There's ongoing conflict to do with the Phantom, Dr. Marara, and Dr. Hyde. He was originally called Jekyll, and now he's called Hyde. And like, I was reading this story, I was amazed firstly at this story. The coloring is so awesome. I love how like there's different specials of color there, and there, and then the rhino and the big gigantic bear get pulled into it, and they take on Dr. Hyde, and they absolutely they don't end up that great. And then the Phantom comes and tries and solves it, and then he's getting pummeled, and the Phantom just manages to escape. That Dr. Hyde is coming for him. He's trying to find him, but then he runs into an old friend, and he says, "Ah, my friend, you're home, thank goodness. I'm not really one for going out. Yes, of course not. I need your help." And he says, "Well, if the Phantom needs help, then Frankenstein's monster will gladly provide it. Tea? I'm not sure that we have the time, and I really wish you wouldn't call yourself that. There's nothing worse than self-delusion. Now come in and tell me all about your recent woes." Like, how I was so excited. I was so excited. I was excited enough that I've got to tell you something, and it's so good. Back cover, it's awesome. This review is about to take another step. Get ready. So after I read that story, I pretty much I text Jason Paulos, and I texted him, and I said that I love the story and I love where it's wanting to go. And yeah, he texts me back. Yes, a win for the Brad. And I hope you enjoyed me having a look at some comic book reviews on today, which is Easter Monday. And I hope you've been having a great Easter and happy Easter to every Phantom fan across the world. And as always, keep Phantom Caving, stay safe, and you'll see me sometime on the channel. Bye!